Hello my amazing people, and welcome back to my channel. If you're back, if you are new, welcome to my channel. I'm Shayna and I have another case for you all today. It's been a while, you guys. I'm so excited to be back. A lot has changed in the last few months. You'll probably notice I'm in a completely new place. I've moved, things are changing, it's a new year. I promise everything is totally fine. Life is just lifing right now. So this case is one that I have been wanting to cover for some time. I've been working on it for a little while now, and I really wanted to bring it to you to spread awareness about this young woman so that people don't forget who she is. I'm hoping to take my little corner of the internet and help in the efforts to bring her home. There will be a change.org petition in the description that I'll tell you about later in the video. Just want to give my usual disclaimer that this is all information that I have found online and compiled into a video for educational purposes. Thank you guys so very much for stopping by today, and let's get started. Lakira Goldsmith was born on July 24th, 1998, and was living in Montgomery, Alabama at the time of her disappearance. In 2018, she was 20 years old, living with her grandmother and her young son at the time, and life was really good for her. Lakira goes by the nickname Pig. People called her Pig, and that's just what she was known as, and she was dearly loved by the people around her. Lakira is the kind of person who always looks out for other people, whether it be friends or family. Everyone knows that they can call on her at any time. She just has that very caring and loving personality that people know that they can rely on. Lakira is extremely close to her mother, who's a woman named Marshall Goldsmith, and Marshall has been working tirelessly since Lakira went missing. Lakira has a son named Armani, who I told you about briefly, and he is a sweet little boy just like his mom. She has an incredible bond with him, and he really has missed her since she went missing. Lakira is also super tight with her siblings who love her dearly, and back in 2018 she had a boyfriend who she would spend time with here and there as well. Lakira has severe asthma that has been known to send her to the hospital on more than one occasion, unfortunately, and she takes daily medication for it, and at times it really can be a challenge for her. But regardless of this, she's always been such a sweet and lovable person, and she's maintained that sweet and lovable personality through all of her health complications, even when things have been really hard for her. Her loved ones call Lakira the Facebook queen because she was constantly active on her socials. She kept her accounts updated throughout her days before she went missing, and she really liked posting pictures, and she would update her status sometimes multiple times a day. She was very present on her platforms. And something that added a personal touch to her personality was that she absolutely loved wearing nice jewelry. And it was rare to see her without her accessories. She usually had her earrings in or some other kind of glammed out accessory on to stay stylish, which I absolutely love. And she has a lower lip piercing and a snake eye piercing, which is basically a piercing that shows two balls on the tip of the tongue. On the very normal evening of November 27th, 2018, Lakira asked her mom if she would mind babysitting Armani for some time so she could go out and spend the evening with her boyfriend. Since she was 20 years old, her mother did not pry about what her plans were exactly with her boyfriend, and she told her that it was not a problem. She didn't mind watching him for a few hours while her daughter went out to enjoy her evening. On this night, she looked really nice. She had on a knee-length velvet black dress. She had on a silver choker necklace as well as some very nice earrings in. So Lakira left the home that evening excited to hang out with her boyfriend, and her grandmother was happy to see sometime later out the window that Lakira was getting out of her boyfriend's car as he was dropping her off back at home. But her grandmother didn't stare. She was giving her privacy, so she walked away from the window and went about whatever she was doing, and expected that in some time Lakira would make her way through the front door. But after plenty of time had passed, well enough for Lakira to have made it into the home safely, Her grandmother became concerned when she looked outside and there was no sign of her or her boyfriend.
My daughter went missing November the 29th, 2018 from here in Montgomery.
A missing daughter and a mother on a mission to find her. What happened? Where is she? And why did she just disappear? This is the 12 News Defender's case file, Lakira Pig Goldsmith.
Her grandmother was sure, she was absolutely certain that she saw Lakira getting out of her boyfriend's car. So when now she was gone, she became concerned. The red flags went up right away, and she decided to reach out to Marshall to let her know that she didn't know where Lakira was now. When her family couldn't reach Lakira on her phone, they became really worried. And after some time had passed, Marshall decided to call the local police department and file a missing persons report. Luckily, the police responded right away. They came out to take down the information and get the report filed. And this had Lakira's family hopeful that they would have answers soon, that Lakira would be found and returned home. But unfortunately, after filing this initial report, the police did very, very little to follow up and help find Lakira. So the family gets this report filed, and they decide to speak to people in the neighborhood where Lakira lived with her grandmother on Narrow Lane Road in Montgomery. And they were actually able to get information from a maintenance man in the apartment complex. This man told the family that he did see a young woman that night who he believed to be Lakira around 2 a.m., 2 in the morning, on the same night that she was last seen by her grandmother. He said that Lakira asked him if she could use his cell phone, and he happily obliged. He handed it over to her before walking inside of a nearby building so that he could give her a bit of privacy. And when he returned, he expected to see her maybe finishing up her call or waiting to return his phone to him, but the phone was actually sitting on the pavement and Lakira was gone. I looked as much as I could, but unfortunately found no information about what correspondence Lakira had on this maintenance man's cell phone. I don't know if she sent a text, if she made a phone call. If that is available, or if police have the information, it has not been released as far as I know. But there were also allegedly reports that Lakira was seen by an unnamed person in another neighborhood in Montgomery, which indicates that maybe she used a cell phone and then left, and that she was completely fine when she left Narrow Lane Road. Since Lakira had the health conditions that I told you about, her severe asthma that would land her in the hospital on some occasions, her mom knew that it was a really good idea to call around and check all the local hospitals to see if maybe she had been admitted anywhere. Maybe she had an asthma attack, or maybe she had some other medical emergency that required her to go to the hospital. Extremely hopeful that maybe she could find some answers on her own, Marshall called around to every single hospital in the area to see if Lakira was checked in and registered as a patient, but she would discover that Lakira was not listed as a patient at any of the local hospitals. She had not been admitted to any of them. Now, the good news at that time was that there were security cameras, CCTV cameras in the apartment complex around the area where Lakira lived. So this was promising as a potential lead in finding out, or seeing where she had gone that night. Maybe if she had left with someone, if she had left with her boyfriend, or if she appeared to be inebriated in any kind of way, or if she was compromised somehow. These cameras to the family had a lot of potential in giving them answers. The police were encouraged to follow up and check these cameras as soon as possible, but unfortunately they did not move quite fast enough. This specific apartment complex had a camera system that would record footage and then it would save it for 30 days. After 30 days, whatever footage was saved in the system would automatically be deleted so that new footage could be recorded over it. So the police did not act within those first 30 days after Lakira was last seen, and therefore they had absolutely no way of seeing what actually happened to her on the cameras because all of the footage had been deleted. I don't know the ins and outs as far as what police have to do to get that as evidence, but it seems like more could have been done within those first 30 days. Now, I told you that Lakira was not able to be reached on her cell phone, but she also went completely dark on her social media as well. And due to how active she was known to be on her social media, her going silent made everyone even more afraid than they had already been at this point. She was not the type of girl to go about her day without posting any sort of status or responding to someone else's or posting a photo of some sort. So it was a huge concern. And she also was simply not the type of mother, the type of daughter, or the type of sibling who would just poof and disappear without contacting anyone. So there was no chance in her family's minds that her disappearance was voluntary. Everyone's stomachs were in knots because something had to be wrong.
This apartment complex in Montgomery would serve as a starting point in the search for Lakira Pig Goldsmith. Her mother, Marshall, ended up meeting us a few miles away, saying it was too difficult for her to return to that site.
It's been a nightmare. It's just hard for me day to day, getting out of bed, just going on with my day.
Her daughter Lakira went missing in November 2018, and since that day, Marshall said she's been advocating for her alone.
I called MPD, they came and did the missing person report. It took a month to get her on the news.
Lakira, a young mother, would never leave her family and her son behind, her mother says. And what's really difficult is there are so many disturbing unknowns in her case. Lakira was last seen near Narrow Lane Road in Montgomery. There were reports she was spotted with a boyfriend. Other reports that she was seen talking to a maintenance man. Very active on social media, when Lakira's social media accounts went dark, her family became worried.
My mom saw her that day across the street from where we live in the other apartment complex, and that was the last time that my mom seen her. Like, she disappeared after that.
So what happened, and did someone else see her that day? I reached out to the Montgomery Police Department via email and by phone and received a brief response that read in part, "We cannot comment or conduct an interview on active cases." Her mother hopes someone at this apartment complex saw something and will come forward. She said she needs the entire community's support.
Share her posts on Facebook, her flyers, hang up flyers, get more involved. Yeah, someone seeing something. No one just go missing without anybody seeing something.
As the days go by, she worries about her daughter. What happened to her? Where is she? And when will she come home? I'm Jasmine Williams with this 12 News Defenders case file in Montgomery.
So there is a man who appears to be the main suspect in the court of public opinion. He has been accused and charged and incarcerated for really bad crimes. So we're going to talk about it. This man allegedly worked at the apartment complex. I believe it's called the Red Lion apartment complex, which is the one on Narrow Lane Road where Lakira was living with her grandmother. And apparently he was employed by this complex for some time, and the people who lived in the complex had issues with him. There were allegedly times where he would knock on women's doors in the middle of the night at 3 or 4 a.m. and then run away. Apparently, there were alleged threats that he made to people's lives at different times. And he actually is currently serving a 40-year sentence, excuse me, after pleading guilty to assault and domestic violence, strangulation, suffocation charges regarding other women. I believe there were 2 other women, one of them being an ex-girlfriend at the time. He was accused of raping one woman and assaulting another, and many people wonder if he could have been involved in Lakira's disappearance because of his reputation, because of the things that he has done to women in the community. And we do know that he knew Lakira firsthand, and it's alleged that he was actually questioned by police when she first went missing. I have no proof of his involvement, but the public seemed to be outraged that more follow-up wasn't done. I even saw some Facebook posts, like screenshots of him responding to people's comments, accusing him of maybe knowing something or having been involved, and it appeared that he completely denied any involvement whatsoever. But you really can't look into this case and look at what the different people are saying without this male being involved in the topic of conversation. You just can't. And it is interesting. It's concerning because we know that he was familiar with the area. We know that he knew Lakira. We knew that he even worked in the apartment complex and was around this area back in 2018. I will put in a pinned comment if I decided to include the article about this person, or if I decided not to. It's really just about covering myself and not wanting to go out on a limb and accuse anyone of anything who hasn't actually been formally accused by the authorities. So, but if you'd like to see for yourself, you can find this information with just a quick search on Facebook, and it's right there. So a couple of years ago, Marshall was invited onto the Maury show to talk about Lakira's disappearance, and a few things were featured on this episode. Her little sister was recorded singing a song that she had written for Lakira. Her name is Michaela, and the song talked about how she loved her sister and she needed her to come home. In addition to this, Maury connected Marshall with a psychic medium who was named Jeffrey Wands. Jeffrey was to go down to Montgomery and see if maybe he could pick up on any information regarding Lakira, her disappearance, who could have been involved, pretty much anything. It appeared that he was able to correctly guess things about Lakira, including that she had asthma, the name of the street that she lived on, and even the date that she went missing. He said that he got the feeling that she was still alive, and when she went missing, she was with someone driving a light-colored car with damage on it and a cracked windshield. He also insisted that searches be conducted in a body of water in the area, and he claims that Lakira was guiding him there. I don't know how much merit I can personally give him, but Marshall did say that she found him to be helpful, and perhaps that is the most important thing. Marshall has been very active on social media to spread awareness about her daughter, and she has organized searches in the area ever since she went missing years ago. And it's evident that she is not planning to give up until she has answers, until she finds out what happened to Lakira. And she calls on the public to do our part to spread awareness, to make sure people don't forget who Lakira was, to keep her name and her photos out there so that someone who has information will be compelled to come forward. Again, just a little description of Lakira. She was about 5'4" to 5'5" inches tall. And at the time of her disappearance, she had blonde hair with black roots. And also, again, she had a lip piercing and a tongue piercing. She was last seen wearing a black velvet knee-length dress. There is a Change.org petition calling on the governor of Alabama to offer a reward to anyone with information about Lakira's whereabouts. It has just over 1,000 signatures at this point. It has been active for some time now, and we can definitely get those numbers up. So I will have it in the description for you to sign. It may be one of the only ways that you can contribute to the efforts, so I do encourage you to do that. I have signed it myself. If there is anyone watching this video who has information or is close to the family of Lakira, feel free to comment. If you do have information about any standing rewards at this point, I checked Crime Stoppers, I checked different websites, and I wasn't able to find that a reward had been posted. So as far as I'm aware, that is still something that we are trying to get completed for Lakira and her family. The most unfortunate thing about this case is that more effort wasn't put into looking for her when she first went missing. All of us know in this space that the first 48 hours are the most important. The first day is the most important, but that first week, those first couple of days, real effort has to be put into finding people who have gone missing. Otherwise, the chances of ever finding them drop dramatically. And I saw an interview where Marshall mentioned that it even took an entire month to get Lakira on the news. An entire month to get her name and her face out there to the community, when those first couple of days, someone could have seen what was going on with her or heard something. By the time that month has passed, people may have forgotten or not been sure if they had seen her. It's unfortunate. We have seen over and over again where families feel like their case wasn't handled correctly, and it potentially could be because of the color of their skin, the community that they live in. That was definitely a concern for Marshall, that she mentioned that there were other cases that had happened after Lakira went missing that were getting so much more coverage, drastically more coverage, and it just didn't seem like a coincidence. It just seemed like certain cases were more important to the public and to the news outlets to cover. But regardless of the hurdles, Marshall has been committed to finding answers for her daughter. Like I said, she is active on Facebook to spread awareness, and she is still conducting searches to this day. Lakira's son Armani asks about his mother all of the time and deserves to have his mom back. There's this photo of him on his first day of school, and knowing that he's getting older without his mother is just heartbreaking. I did see a GoFundMe that used to be active for donations, but it is currently inactive. If there are other resources that become available that you can contribute to, I will be sure to add a pinned comment for your reference. I will be sure to keep you updated if anything does become available. And again, if there is anyone that's close to the family that you know donations or maybe signatures on a different petition, if there's something that I haven't mentioned in this video that could be of help in the search for Lakira, please let me know, and I will be sure to let my subscribers know, my viewers know as well. Marshall has mentioned that every day is difficult. She really encourages everyone to get involved and to spread the word. Maybe it'll jog someone's memory, or maybe someone who knows something will be encouraged and compelled to come forward with information. But that is where I will end this video. Be sure to check out the description box for the resources of who you can contact with information, and let me know what you guys think about this case. Let me know what information that you have heard about this case. Do you live in the Montgomery area? Are you familiar with this case? I'm curious to have a dialogue with you all in the comment section below, and I'm really hoping that in some small way this video can help. It is so good to be back, you guys. I really missed you all. So much is changing and life is moving fast. I'm excited to be able to bring you this content. I was thinking the other day, I was watching this true crime sort of series on Hulu. Let me see if I can find the name of it actually. And no shade to the show, because I'm sure that there are a lot of people who really enjoy it, but I just personally I had to turn it off because it just felt so sensationalized and so like theatrical. It didn't feel like that tact and that like care was there. The details were there, the information was there. I think the episode that I saw, family was involved too, but the production just felt detached from the severity of the reality of what had actually happened to the victim in that episode that I saw. How I Caught My Killer is what it was called. I'm just noticing that as the true crime genre continues to grow, because it's mind-boggling how much the interest has skyrocketed over the last couple of years. I just fear that the personalization and like the care that needs to be put into these stories might not be there as much. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. That's just what I think. But maybe it's because like I spend my time, when I'm working on videos, invested in the stories and kind of empathizing with the victims and their families, and my delivery is just different. So that doesn't mean that I'm right. I'm rambling. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today. It's really, truly, from the bottom of my heart, it's so good to be back. And yeah, I missed y'all. Thank you guys so very much for hanging out with me today. I hope you're having an amazing day. I hope you're having a great week. I hope the start to your year has been phenomenal. I hope that you have, if not resolutions, just intentions for the year that you plan to set and accomplish for yourself. And I'm hoping that this is a good year. I feel like we need it at this point. So I'm sending you all the good vibes, all the good energy, and I really truly hope that you're doing well. I also hope that you have an amazing morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on what time it is when you watch this video. And you know what I'm gonna say, if you made it this far, you are loyal, you really are, and I appreciate you. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Peace.